So, everyone wants to be lean, and everyone thinks, well, being lean must be awesome, right? We look at all these influencers and we see them with six pack, shredded, veins popping out of their forearms, biceps, their chest looks good, back looks detailed, and yeah, it looks super cool. And I do believe everyone should be lean at least once in their life. But what if I actually told you it's not as glamorous as you think? Let me share my experience. So, for most things, when it comes to whether or not we decide something's worth doing, we usually use pros and cons, right? So, I'm going to start with the pros first. Being lean, the number one thing, at least I think, the number one pro is you're topless and you look great. And a lot of people value that. Our society does value people who are more attractive, and people who have muscle and are lean tend to be considered more attractive, at least from for males. I'm speaking specifically for males because I'm a male myself, and I don't know what it's like being female. This is not what the video pertains to. So it's being lean as a male. And yeah, there are definitely benefits to it. Now, when I got super lean, I was with my girlfriend, and I don't go out, I don't party or anything like that. But I can already imagine if you are someone who has some muscle and is lean, and you go to raves and you go topless, you're probably going to do quite well. You are easily within the top 1 percentile of physiques, if not maybe even higher, because I think there was a stat somewhere that showed that there's more millionaires than there are people with visible abs that look good. I'm not talking about just washboard abs and being really thin. I mean a physique that looks good, muscular, whilst also being lean. And that's rare to find than someone who has a lot of money. So just from supply demand itself, you know, there's already less supply of those kind of people, and you're naturally considered more attractive. And then to top it off, women do tend to prefer muscular guys, so you've easily hit the jackpot there. So that's definitely the number one pro. Um, Now, from my experience, it didn't really affect me. I don't really go out. I don't care. But when I was younger and 20 something and single, yeah, it definitely made a difference because I went from being not aesthetic to being considered relatively aesthetic. And that made a world of a difference in first impressions, not just with women, but with guys as well. People will speak to you more, and that's just how it is. That's a matter of fact. Okay, number two, joint aches and pains. I got a lot less of those actually, funny enough. I was lighter. I think when I was at my lightest weight, I was probably around 73, which was I didn't maintain that for long. It was like a day or two because I was cutting weight for a fight. But I was roughly about 77, maintaining that weight, 77 kilos. So I felt really, really good, light on my feet. Every time I jumped, I ran, just felt easy. Whereas now being 83, which is roughly my maintenance weight, 6 kilos heavier than usual, I feel, relatively heavier, and my joints definitely ache a little more. And especially if I start to hit the 85 kilo weight threshold, which I haven't done in years, yeah, I definitely feel it. So that's a pro of being lean. Number three, you spend less on food. So from a financial perspective, really good. I also spent less time thinking about where to buy my food, so it was a little more convenient. I probably only eat 2 or 3 meals, bigger meals, or 4 or 5 more frequent meals, which I already meal prepped anyways. It's also really easy. It's brainless because you already know what you need to eat. It's not going to be far off from some sort of vegetable with protein. And when that's the case, you're not spending that much money. You're not really eating out either. So yeah, expenditure definitely went down, which is, I guess, definitely a pro. That's pretty much it from my own perspective. Now, going into the cons. Number one, you look small in a shirt. So this is the classic issue with being natural. You either look big in a shirt, but you're too fluffy when you take off your shirt, or the opposite is you're lean, but you look really small in a shirt. And that's the problem with being lean. When you cut down, everyone goes, dude, you look like you've gotten smaller. Because when you're in a shirt, no one can see you topless. They don't see your abs. Okay. So no one really knows, unless if you're huge, like, you know, Mr. Olympia size. Maybe not necessarily Mr. Olympia, but you're a big dude, which I'm not. So when you get down to a relatively lean weight, you just don't look that big. And yeah, it kind of sucks. Next, from my perspective and experience, I got it was a little easier, not a little, it was easier for me to get sick and injured. Now, obviously, that is affected by what you do as well. So I was fighting, which meant a lot of really hardcore training. But generally speaking, if you're going to get super lean, i.e., sub 10%, or if not 8%, which I think I was roughly at about 8%, um, yeah, you don't have energy, and that means you're going to be sick more often. You're doing so much more intense work that you're more prone to being ill. And there's plenty of studies to show that when you train at high intensity, for mostly endurance or cardio exercise, you're more susceptible to URTIs, which are upper respiratory tract infections. So that's one of the main drawbacks. Now, obviously, it depends on the way you cut too. So if you don't actually go outside too much, you don't exercise that much, but you rely solely on diet, you probably won't get sick, and you're probably less likely to get injured. But from my experience, I definitely got sick and more injured. You're prone to the cold. So if you live in, let's say, a really hot climate, then maybe that's not much of an issue. But I think for a lot of you, especially folks in Western countries, yeah, it's cold and you'll feel really cold. You have a lot less fat, and fat insulates your body, right? It helps you stay warm. So you're constantly feeling cold all the time. And that's not really fun, is it? I mean, obviously the solution is not that difficult. You turn on the heater, throw on some clothes, and you're good. But yeah, I hate the cold. I feel terrible. I feel miserable. So yeah, definitely prefer to be a little fluffier. This is a big one, the next one. I definitely got a lot more temperamental. So I'm already better now as I'm older. I'm 31. Especially when I was younger, I was definitely a little more temperamental. But yeah, my mood changed a lot. So one day I'm really happy, and then suddenly out of nowhere, something minor can really make me snap. And yeah, I've heard that this is very common amongst a lot of people who get lean. So bodybuilders, they often talk about being temperamental when they are cutting. And yeah, it's a very common issue. I don't recommend being lean because of this reason alone, amongst the other reasons. Um, but yeah, being temperamental is not fun. Being moody, not fun, especially for the people around you. Um, Next, I felt tired all the time and I didn't feel like I had much energy to do a lot of things. Now, obviously, my training regime was really intense and I was doing a lot of cardio and I got shredded really quickly. There's definitely more efficient ways to do it, but I was just exhausted all the time. And if you talk to a lot of people who get lean or you talk to bodybuilders who get cut for shows, you see them even 4 or 5 weeks out of the show, maybe even longer, 8 weeks out, they're already, struggling to walk. They're just exhausted. And yeah, being lean takes a lot out of you. Unless if you're naturally someone who gets lean really easily or you're genetically capable of staying lean, then that's an exception. But most people are not that. That's not the majority. So getting to even sub 12% for some people can already feel quite tiring. And that's why the sweet spot is usually about 12 to 15% for most people. Next, I felt depressed. Yeah, I definitely felt more depressed than being at 12 to 15%. I mean, just the simple fact that I couldn't eat as much, yeah, that's depressing in itself. Then you're tired as well. You don't want to do anything. Yeah, you're more likely to get depressed. I mean, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, anyone? The basic needs are just simple things like being able to eat, being able to sleep, being able to drink water. And when you're cutting, you can't really do a lot of these things. So, yeah, you're going to be more prone to depression. It is what it is. And last, just hungry all the time. You're constantly thinking about food. Now, maybe some people aren't like that, but most people I know who have cut and got to a very low body fat percentage, yeah, they will feel hungry all the time. They get pissed when they see other people eating and they don't get to eat it. Yeah, that is for real. That is not a joke. Not fun at all. And when you're hungry, everything else feels more difficult. You're more likely to get hungry. I mean, there's a reason why it's called being hangry, right? So yeah, those are the cons that I can think of. In my opinion, they definitely outweigh the pros. That's just my personal opinion. Uh, sure, for some people, maybe number one pro, when I talked about being lean is great for looking good when you're topless, and that can be a massive pro to some people. and that pro could completely outweigh all the cons. Never did for me, never will. And yeah, I do think everyone should still get lean at least once in their life, though. Not necessarily to look a certain way or whatnot, but it's just an experience, it's a process, and it's to learn what you are capable of doing. And I do think everyone can get to, at the bare minimum, sub 15% body fat, if not sub 12, and it shouldn't be that difficult. I'm not saying it's easy though. It requires a lot of consistency, a lot of discipline, a lot of changes in habits. Most people don't have the discipline to change their dietary habits as well as exercise habits. So it's not easy, but it's definitely well worth it, and you'll be very proud of yourself. It's a photo that you can keep for the rest of your life, or photos, memories as well, experience. Not many people can experience this as well. So I definitely think it's worth doing. You'll learn a lot about food, about exercise, about health. So I definitely recommend it at least once. But if it's not for you, there's no need to get there. And that's the video. Take care and peace.